guys, Jennifer here with the Family Fudge, and welcome to an all-new episode of Bunches of Lunches. The school lunch ideas I'm sharing this week are super tasty and super easy to put together, which is perfect because this week I let the kids take over. That's right, this week they all took turns helping to plan out a lunch and actually make the lunch for that day. And you guys, make sure to stay tuned until Friday's lunch because it includes a really fun grocery shopping challenge that we've never tried before. Now, before we get started, make sure to click that red subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you don't miss out on any of our future videos. And now, with all that being said, let's get started.
Hi guys, Lily here. Today is Monday and I hope to pick out this lunch. It's gonna be really easy but really tasty. One of my favorite things to have for lunch is a homemade Lunchable. So the first thing I need to do is remove the center divider. That way I have plenty of space to put all my different ingredients. And to keep my ingredients separate, I'm going to add in 4 silicone liners. That way the meat and cheese won't get my crackers all soggy. I don't like soggy crackers. I don't think anybody does. Instead of using regular round crackers today, I'm gonna add some of these golden butter crackers. And I really like these ones because they're in the shape of a butterfly. I'm gonna put in 4 of these crackers because I think that's a perfect amount for me. Next, it's time to cut the cheese. To make the cheese really cute, I'm just going to cut them out with my flour cutter. This is really easy. Even my little brother can do this. It's time for some pepperoni. This is my favorite kind of meat to use when I'm making a Lunchable. This pepperoni is a little bit spicy, but I like it anyway. Next, I'm going to add in a vegetable, because they're already cut up and ready to go. I'm just going to line them up right in here and add a little container of ranch. Next, I'm going to add in some fruit. And right now, my most favorite fruit is watermelon. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this watermelon into smaller pieces. And then in this back section, I'm also going to add in another fruit, some green grapes. And I added a couple of these grapes to some little skewers with hearts on the ends. Next, I'm going to add a treat in my lunch. And for my treat, I decided to go with blueberry muffins. And I think 3 is a good amount. I'll finish these off with a little elephant pick. And then for my drink, I picked some juice with a minion topper. You guys let me know in the comments down below if you know the name of this minion. And that is everything my lunch.
So Lily, did you like making your lunch?
Yeah, it was really fun.
Do you want to pick a lunch again next week?
Yeah.
Okay, start thinking about what you want to have.
Okay, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Hello, guys. Jackson here. Today is Tuesday, and I'm in charge of today's lunch. Today, I'm going to start by making mini sandwiches, but not just regular sandwiches, because I'm not using regular bread. Instead, I'm using frozen mini pancakes. And since these pancakes are frozen, the first thing I'm going to do is put them on a plate and microwave them for 30 seconds. For these mini sandwiches, I'm also going to use cheese and ham. You can use any kind of cheese for this, but I like to use cheddar. And to make sure this cheese fits in my sandwiches, I'm going to go ahead and cut it. That's right, I'm going to cut the cheese. So now that I have 4 little pieces of cheese, it's time to move on to the ham. I'm just gonna roll this ham up and then cut them in the middle. And now that my pancakes are ready, it's time to put these sandwiches together. And to make sure these don't fall apart, I'm gonna add 1 pick into each little sandwich. This is a lot like a Lunchable, but instead of a cracker, you use a pancake, a mini one. So now that I have these done, I'm going to add my fruit, which is going to be strawberries. I just washed them, and then I cut off the top, and then sliced each one in half. I'm gonna just add some fruit picks to it. And I did put these into silicone liners. That way none of the strawberry juice can get on my sandwich. In this back section, I'm gonna add some sugar snap peas with some ranch for dipping. For my treat, I decided to go with some yogurt. Right now we have peach yogurt or vanilla yogurt. And I picked the peach. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite yogurt flavor is. For my snack, I'm also gonna add in some Toy Story goldfish. And then I'm just gonna dump them into this goldfish container. And then the last thing I'm gonna add into this lunch is a drink. And I picked out the fruit punch with the Star Wars topper. And I know his name is R2-D2. I think my lunch turned out awesome, and I think it's gonna be the best lunch of the whole week.
And here's what Jackson's lunchbox looked like after. What'd you think?
It was really good.
I think everyone loved those mini pancakes.
And we'll see you tomorrow. Hi guys, and welcome to Wednesday. This is Mackenzie, and I'm in charge of today's lunch. My first step for this lunch is going to be to make some roll-ups, not the fruit kind. These ones have pepperoni. First, I'm going to take some nice and soft cream cheese, and to this, I'm just going to add a little bit of ranch dressing. Now, I'm just going to mix these two together. Next, I'm going to use one big flour tortilla. I'm going to put one down on my cutting board. I'm just going to spread this cream cheese all over it, and I want to make sure to get it all the way to the edges. Next, I'm going to take a big slices of pepperoni and lay them out all over my tortilla. Next, I'm going to take my mozzarella slices and add a layer on top of the pepperoni. And the last thing I'm going to add is just a handful of spinach. I'm just going to spread this all out, and then my mom's going to help me roll it up, and then she cut it into slices. For my lunch, I'm just going to add 3 of these slices, and the other slices will go into the other kids' lunches. For my fruit, I picked mango. And to make this mango easier to cut, my mom used her mango cutter. Then I took a spoon to scoop all the pieces out. Oh. So now I'm just going to load up all my mango chunks, add them into the lunchbox, and put a little bunny inside. His name is Jerry. Next, in the back section of my lunchbox, I'm going to add in some cucumber. To go along with the cucumbers, I'm also going to add some ranch. And for my snack, I'm going to add this Skinny Pop popcorn. I've never had it before. And for my treat, I'm going to have some mango rice pudding. And last but not least, for my drink today, I'm just going to have some water. And that's my lunch, complete and done.
Okay, Kenzie, what do you think about making your lunch?
It was really cool.
Should we do it again next week?
Yeah.
Well, start thinking about what you want to make.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Okay, guys, next up we have Griffin's lunch. Say hi.
Hi.
Say today is Thursday.
Today is Wednesday.
And I'm going to be helping Griffin make this lunch because he doesn't have quite as much experience as the other kids. Do you love making lunches? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is make a peanut butter and jelly star. So Griffin helped me cut out the bread, and then Griffin helped me put a little bit of what?
Peanut butter.
Side we put some jelly. What kind of jelly?
Red jelly.
Red jelly with strawberry jelly. And then I let Griffin pick out some really fun eye picks to stick in his sandwich.
Yes.
Now to go along with this PB&J, we also added some cheese. So I just took a string cheese and I let Griffin cut it up.
I got the cheese and was eating as I used my hand to cut.
Yeah, you had a very, very safe kid knife, right? Next, into Griffin's lunch, we're going to add some
green grapes
and some
tomatoes.
Do you like tomatoes?
Yeah.
Yeah, my boys like tomatoes, but my girls don't. I don't know what's the deal.
I want them only like apples.
They only like apples?
And
Okay.
boys like tomatoes.
Now, grapes and tomatoes are one of the things that can be kind of a choking hazard for younger kids, so I thought it'd be fun to give this little grape cutter a try. I found it on Amazon, and you just load in your little fruit or veggie, and it's supposed to cut it into 4 longer pieces, which are supposed to be safer for kids. I thought this worked really well on my tomatoes, but not so well on the grapes. But my grapes were a little on the mushy side. So now in this back section of the lunchbox, we're gonna add in some pretzels.
Yes, and bacon big mess with me.
Did you make a big mess with those pretzels?
And made a big mess with me my own.
Next, in the center section, I'm going to have Griffin add some raisins. And now the very last thing I'm adding into Griffin's lunch is his drink.
I big milk. This lunch is awesome. I love making lunches with Mommy. See you tomorrow.
Okay guys, do you know what this challenge is all about?
Kind of.
Okay, we're gonna go to the grocery store and each of you needs to pick an item that can go in tomorrow's lunch.
Okay.
But you can only pick items on the aisle of your age. So you have to look for things on aisle 10, aisle
6,
aisle
1,
3. You're 3. And what aisle is your aisle, Jack?
8.
Let's see what kind of lunch we can make.
I hope there's nothing weird in my age level. Let's go.
Okay guys, let's do ladies first.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the boys' turn, okay? Are you ready, girls?
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a voiceover at this part since inside the grocery store was so loud. So we ended up taking the girls first and we started on Miss Lily's aisle first. Now since she is 6 years old, that meant aisle 6. Now she lucked out with aisle 6 because it has a lot of her favorite foods, things like candy, bread, dried fruit, and drinks. Of course, she went straight for the things like gummy bears and cotton candy. She definitely gave those a thumbs up. But then she also found things like prunes, which were a thumbs down for her. The girls also found some Good to Grow bottles on this aisle, but I'm pretty sure we owned every single Good to Grow topper there is, so we passed on that. And then at the very end of the aisle, she also found some chips. So now you have to wait until I make the lunch to find out what she ended up picking. Next up was Mackenzie's turn, and right now she is 10 years old, so unfortunately aisle 10 is mostly cat food and air filters and magazines, so not a lot of food. She definitely gave the cat food a thumbs down, as well as the doggy treats. We're definitely not putting those in any lunches. She also found some magazines which she liked, but you can't eat a magazine, right? So thankfully at the very end cap of aisle 10, she did end up finding lots of different snack foods like cakes and donuts and treats like that. So she did pick out something. You'll have to wait to find out what it was. So now that the girls' turn is done, it's time for the boys. And we decided to start on aisle 3 since Griffin is 3 years old right now. Now this aisle was kind of a challenge too because it's mostly condiments. We were able to find things like ranch, which we definitely give a thumbs up, but we also found a lot of hot sauce, which the kids definitely give a thumbs down. Although I think it's good. So definitely stay tuned to find out what Griffin ended up picking. And then finally it was Jackson's turn. Jackson is 8 and he really hit the jackpot here. Aisle 8 has things like frozen dinners, frozen pizza, corn dogs, lots of easy foods to put in lunch boxes. We found some fish sticks, which Jackson did not want to go with. We found some crumpets, which I definitely would have picked if it was my aisle. And then just to give you a hint, Jackson ended up picking something from this section, so definitely hang on to find out what it was. Now unfortunately, this store didn't have an aisle of my age since I am so old, but I did want to show you these really cool treats that I found. They're all Mickey shaped, so you know I love them. So now we're gonna head back home and tomorrow I'll show you what the kids picked out. Hey guys, and welcome to Friday. So yesterday the kids and I went shopping and we picked out lots of different random things to put in this lunch, and we're gonna start by adding in some bagel bites. This is what Jackson ended up picking and I'm pretty happy about these. They are very easy to make. I just have to pop them in the microwave. Now, unfortunately, you guys, none of these aisles really had fresh fruits or vegetables on them, so I am going to cheat a little bit here. I'm going to go ahead and put some strawberries into the lunch because I already had them in my fridge, and I'm also going to throw in a few baby carrots because I do want this lunch to have some healthy things in it, I guess. Now, in the same section of the carrots, I'm gonna go ahead and put in Griffin's choice. Now, he ended up picking this little jar of pickles. I did have to make sure that he picked out the dill pickles because I know he doesn't like the sweet ones. Next, we're gonna add in Lily's choice, which is a bag of Cheeto Bites. So these are like white cheddar Cheetos, but they're just a lot smaller, which actually works out really well to fit in the lunchbox. And then last but not least, we're gonna be adding in Mackenzie's pick, and I'm really happy that these were on the end of her aisle. I was really nervous that her aisle didn't have any real food at all. She ended up finding these donut holes, and I'm gonna be able to fit just one into each lunchbox, so I think it works out really well. So overall, you guys, this was a super fun challenge, but I'd have to say this is the most hodgepodge lunch I have ever made, but it was really fun, and I think it turned out pretty good. As you can see, the kids liked pretty much everything except for the little Cheeto Bites. Some of the kids were not big fans of those. Okay guys, now let me know in the comments down below, out of all of the lunches this week, which one was your favorite? Also, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video.